Okay, okay. Hey, YouTube. I am back. Going to talk about some games here and go over like my few favorite bets. I don't really love the slate for tomorrow. We took a small L today. Could have been worse, but looks like we're gonna go 2 out of 5. Georgia's absolutely getting demolished right now. Just what a terrible pick. I mean, you have St. Louis, who has been honestly just looking like a completely average team the past 6 months with 6 months, 6 games with a proven ability to destroy teams, and I decided to fade them. I don't know why. I just didn't really want to believe in the reversion, but there was definitely a huge reversion there that I usually would have been on top of, but I decided to fade it and go with Georgia for whatever reason. I didn't really have much of an edge or a reason there. So pretty dumb pick, and seems like I'm just kind of picking games lately just to be in on bets, and gotta be more careful, so we'll see what I can find for tomorrow. I'm not gonna go over yeah, actually, let's go over them real quick. So, Louisville won by 4, was up by double digits the whole game, and somehow blew the cover at the end. So this one was close. I don't really feel like it was a bad pick, and I feel like it was a good bracket pick. I used this pick in all my brackets, and it definitely panned out for that purpose, but sad that they, couldn't cover the hook, just getting lazy at the end of the game. But whatever. Next game, VCU was a ridiculous comeback. VCU was down by like 15 to 20 points and just came back over the course of the second half, pushed it into OT and won in overtime. So sick game, great win. Helped my bracket too. These three first games are the only thing keeping my bracket alive. Otherwise, I'd be done. So got VCU, and then Texas A&M just went in there and handled St. Mary's. I kind of expected them to. This was like a reversion play as well. Like this is a team with a proven ability to whoop teams who has just been looking average the past 6 or so games. So kind of the same situation as St. Louis, but for some reason I just faded St. Louis. I honestly can't even believe it. I can't even believe that I just am on Georgia right now, and it feels terrible. But moving on to the next game is BYU. They just love AJ DeBonsa. I put like a lower bet on this, but yeah, they lost. They didn't look great, so they're done. Texas moving on to play probably Gonzaga unless they blow it, but let's see what we got for tomorrow. The first game is Santa Clara versus Kentucky. So I kind of like Kentucky on the money line, but I have no real reason to believe that. These teams look pretty similar. Honestly, I don't really see it. I definitely would not be laying any points with Kentucky in this matchup. So, no bet here for me. I do have Kentucky in my bracket. I do kind of think they will win, but they could beat up on this team. Honestly, I do like Kentucky, but there's just no way I'm laying points with them here. I could see Santa Clara winning easily. So, not gonna touch this one, but did go Kentucky from my bracket. Next game, Texas Tech Akron. I mean, this is a game that a lot of people like Akron. This opened up at like plus 10.5 Akron, so at that number maybe I would get involved, but I think Texas Tech is going to kind of work this team. So I don't really trust Texas Tech to lay these any points right now. Like I'm just still skeptical of how they're going to play without Toppin. Yeah, they have a bunch of other shooters and still really good defense, so I'm like still thinking, dang, they might whoop Akron without Toppin. So another game I'm not gonna touch because I do lean Texas Tech, but I just don't want to lay points right now with anybody. It's just like the dogs are so live every day. It's just not worth laying points. So like Texas Tech, not gonna touch it though. Next game, Wright State versus Virginia. I'm getting a similar number, so I'm getting around 18 Virginia. Do I think they're going to cover this? I just honestly have no idea. No idea what is going to happen this game. I can definitely see Virginia covering, and I can definitely seeing their offense having a bad night and it being a close game. So I don't see Virginia losing in any way, but I could see them maybe winning by the low double digits. So another game that I just don't have enough of a lean to get involved with. But yeah, this one I don't like this game at all. I'm gonna See how it goes. But got Virginia for all my brackets. Next game is Iowa State, Tennessee State. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Iowa State completely blows this team out. But again, like Iowa State's been pretty hot all through the end of season. I don't really think I need to lay this many points right now with them. Like I do think they absolutely blow this team out. Like I don't even think this is gonna be close. It's just like Iowa's game is shooting, so it's just like when that's your game, like even if you're versing a bad opponent, your shots could still theoretically miss. That's why I just don't really want to back them here. But let's just check, like, if the rosters just look terrible for Tennessee State, maybe I'll just back Iowa State. But they got this guy who's 6'10". They got a couple bigs. Does he really get minutes though? Nah, he's a liability. They got a 6'11" guy. They got a couple 6'8" guys. They got some size. I don't know if this guy gets any. Yeah, this guy doesn't get any minutes either. So they don't really have bigs that get minutes, but yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Their big actually plays. So they'll definitely have bodies in the paint. Like this guy gets to 15 minutes a game, 10 to 15 minutes a game. So they have a couple they got a big guy who's going to be in the paint at all times. So I like that for them to cover a big number because I do think it's going to be tough for Tennessee State to score. Like Iowa State's defense is amazing, and their offense, like they could just be hitting shots on this team. If not, they could just be attacking the basket. They don't have crazy size on them aside from having an active big who's going to be, in the paint all the whole game. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about this Tennessee State team. I just can't see them putting up much of a fight here. I mean, they went on a run. They don't have a lot of losses for sure, but they do take L's to some bad teams. They held it within. They played Tennessee at the beginning of the season and held it within this number. I mean, they lost by 29, actually. What am I talking about? So they lost by 29 to Tennessee. That's a pretty good comp, but that was in November, so hmm, not sure that it's like a comparable team. I do see the same players. Hmm, yeah, I don't think I can do it, but if I were to do it, I would roll Iowa State and just lay these points, but I'm not really getting that in my sample. I'm getting like 22, so just not enough to move on it. I know the strength of schedule is a lot easier for Iowa, but where I'm at right now, it's like if I'm gonna back a favorite, I need to see them covering the number versus like a harder sample of teams. Otherwise, I'm not gonna touch it. So, moving on. Alabama at versus Hofstra. I don't know about Alabama. I low key want to fade Alabama, but it's probably not a good idea. I mean, I have them basically 9 points better in a way harder strength of schedule. The average of the Alabama samples is 89 versus 145 for the Hofstra samples. So, yeah, I'm getting like a 9, but it is a way harder schedule. So, like, I do like the idea of this being 10.5. Like if I could get a 9.5, I probably would entertain this one. To be fair, though, I did say I'm not laying double digits in this tournament. But it's like Alabama can maybe whoop them right now. Yeah, Alabama's losses are to all really good teams. Texas, Tennessee, Florida, the loss to Georgia and Ole Miss at the end of the season. So I kind of like how, honestly, Alabama hasn't been playing that good at the end of the season. They took a couple really rough losses to some super mid teams. So I'm kind of intrigued to take Alabama to like bounce back and have a sick game. Whereas we have Hofstra probably off like a bunch of wins, just ran through their conference. They really weren't even the best team in their conference. Like they skid out versus some pretty mid teams like Charleston, like whatever. It's not the worst. It's not the worst. They couldn't beat UNC Wilmington though. Yeah, I don't know. I really would like to fade Hofstra horribly here and take Alabama. I'm definitely interested in that. But hmm, yeah, that might be my first pick that I actually kind of like Alabama to just come in here and just destroy Hofstra. Take a quick look at the rosters, but I don't think I really even need to. Hofstra should be a pretty short team. They have a couple 6'10s, but I don't know if these guys get out there. This guy plays 12 minutes a game, not even. He averages. Oh no, he used to play more. That's weird. He plays like 10 plus minutes a game. They have a 7 footer. They have a 7 footer who plays a lot. They have some bigs actually. I'm surprised. This guy doesn't play, but they have a couple bigs who get 10 to 20 minutes, like a 7 footer included. So like their guard size isn't is short, but they have a 6'7" guard, Biggie Patterson. That sounds like a crowd favorite. Been getting a lot of minutes. I think it's like 20 minutes a game. Biggie Patterson. Okay, bro. Hmm. Yeah, I'll think about it. I would consider Alabama, but I think there's probably just better games to pick. I am kind of worried about those bigs that Hofstra has. Like, maybe they could prevent a lot of scoring, but I think Alabama is hitting their shots for sure tomorrow night or whenever this is. So I might end up on Alabama. Next game, Utah State versus Villanova. Um, I honestly don't really have a strong pick in this game. I picked Utah State in my bracket, but I mean, Villanova could easily win this game. Like, I kind of lean Illinois. I mean, I kind of lean Utah State just because, like, the recent samples, they are playing better versus the best teams on their schedule. Utah State is playing like 5 points better, which is pretty impressive. They're playing 3 points better in the last, like, 10 game sample. So, second half of season, they're playing better. Overall, they're playing better. The only thing they got going for them at Villanova is the teams are about even when you're looking at their away samples. So, tough call. I like Utah State. Will I bet it? Probably not because I kind of just have a bad feeling that Villanova is going to just pull off a win. But I got Utah State from my bracket, so we'll see how they do. Like if I could get them on the money line for like minus 135 or 130, I would probably do it, but I don't think I need to lay 2.5 with them here. Maybe though. I don't hate this. Like I kind of like Alabama and Utah State, but not sure. Next game, Miami of Ohio versus Tennessee. I'm definitely not laying this with Tennessee. I'm just not betting any Miami of Ohio games because I just don't know what's good with them. Their strategy of just chucking up threes is just so hit or miss. So they're either gonna basically hold a close game with them or get destroyed, I think. So I'm not touching this one at all. I got Tennessee in my bracket. I think Miami of Ohio cannot hit their shots in this one, but oof, they whooped SMU. So, which SMU is pretty bad, but it's still a great win. It's like it definitely proves that Miami of Ohio is a tournament team to me. Like they won their playing game, so good for them. I'm happy they won. I think they get destroyed by Tennessee though, but not gonna bet it. I mean, I'm getting Tennessee -6 versus like a somewhat similar sample. Yeah, Miami's is decent amount easier, but I can't get to 11.5 for sure. Like I almost like Miami of Ohio, but I'm not taking them. They couldn't even. I don't know. I just can't trust either of these teams right here. Next game, Clemson versus Iowa. I think this game is a pick 'em, but like I think Clemson is kind of due for a good game, and I think they're gonna win. So I do like Clemson plus 2.5 versus Iowa. This is one that I might actually take. Just I just don't think Iowa is very good. Yeah, Clemson has some really tough losses, but they also played a lot of good teams. I mean, they're in the ACC, so they've had to play Duke, they've had to play North Carolina, Louisville, and they did skid out and go on a terrible losing streak, but like they pretty much ran through all their non-con games, beat Georgia, beat West Virginia, had a good game versus Alabama and BYU. Ran through the first leg of their conference, beat Miami, had like a close game with NC State, who like I think could beat Iowa, and then they just skid out. I mean, they lost to Virginia Tech, Duke, like whatever, Duke they lost by what, 13 points? It's not too bad. That's when Duke was healthy and crushing teams. They beat Louisville, which I think is impressive. They beat North Carolina after losing to them by a few points. So it's just like this one patch where they lost to Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Florida State. That I'm like, oh, wow. That doesn't look like a team that I really want to back, but it's like Florida State looked great this season. Florida State almost beat Duke the other night. Like Florida State had a great season. They looked like a real team, and Virginia Tech is also decent. Like this is a team that I mean almost beats Virginia every time they play. So I like Clemson. I think they're due, like especially with this recent skid out here to because they were on a run for months where they were just playing great and then they just skid out in conference play. I mean, you're playing a basketball game every few days for 3 months. I mean, it's you're bound to skid out, so I don't mind that. I mean, their overall record is what? 24-10. Iowa's 21-12. They also ran through their non-con, lost to two great teams in non-con. They lost to a few great teams here. I mean, their conference is tough, but they beat all the bad teams. They beat Indiana, Rutgers, USC, Oregon, Washington, Northwestern. So they went on a tour here where they ran through all of the weaker teams in conference, so that's good. Then they lost to Maryland, lost to Purdue, bad. That's not great. They beat with Nebraska, lost to Wisconsin. So they kind of skid out as well at the end of conference play, but the difference is they kind of skid out versus some good teams and some bad teams. So like no shame in losing to Nebraska or Michigan, but they lost to Ohio State, they lost to Penn State, they lost to Maryland, so they have some bad losses. I honestly think the losses they have to Maryland and Penn State are potentially worse than the Clemson losses. Penn State and Maryland were terrible this year. Maryland had like a couple big games at the end, but like what is Iowa's really impressive win? Nebraska? Like they beat Nebraska by 4 points in the beginning of February when the games really just didn't matter that much. I mean, yeah, I guess they did, but Nebraska was also like undefeated at that time, probably still or the net or close to it. Yeah, I like Clemson here, but I'm not really getting them winning, so I'm getting this as a pretty even game. But I might lean Clemson and grab the plus 2.5. I don't mind that getting the points here. Also, like kind of like thinking that this over under is pretty low. Like, is this really gonna be that crazy of a defensive battle that each team's gonna score in the 60s? Like, I'm wondering if that's even the right spread almost. 128.5. Like, I'm pretty intrigued to take an over there too. I don't really think that these teams, I think both of these teams end up making it to the 70s, to be honest. So, I like Clemson and I like the over. So, we'll see. I'll end up on one of those probably. Next game, Northern Iowa versus St. John's. I thought I was gonna like St. John's in this game a lot, but like I'm just not getting there. I'm not getting a number that is I'm getting them winning by like 8.5, and these samples are actually pretty comparable that I'm looking at. They're not big samples, but a couple of them, yeah, St. John's has a way harder schedule in a couple of these samples, but it's not that crazy. So I can't back them against the Northern Iowa. I'm not laying points with them. I would rather lay points with Alabama. I don't know that I trust St. John's, so we'll see how they do here, but I won't be on it. UCF versus UCLA. I like UCF in this to cover, honestly. I think this is going to be a really close game, but I could also see UCLA kind of whooping them. Like, I'm not getting them much better in any sample, and I think like UCF is probably super fired up. So there's a chance that I actually just take UCF to cover this number because I just think UCLA is not that good. I don't know what they've been up to lately. Yeah, UCLA is kind of on a really crazy streak. I wouldn't mind fading them off of, I mean, they had a win versus Michigan State and then they kind of got not whooped by Purdue, but they didn't do great, but they beat Illinois. They beat Illinois and then they beat Michigan State pretty recently. This is all within the last month. After kind of having a subpar performance overall. Like, yeah, they beat Purdue, but they didn't go up against any other good teams and win this season. Their non-conference schedule was really easy besides Arizona, who they had a good game with and lost. They lost to California, lost to Gonzaga. Like any decent team in non-conference, they lost to. Then they started conference play and just lost to Iowa and Wisconsin. Oh no, that's still non-con, but still, they lost to Wisconsin and Iowa, lost to Ohio State. UCF is like, the issue is they really don't have any good wins. I mean, they ran through non-con too, and they beat Texas A&M in that time. They beat Kansas. They had a pretty good game with Arizona, got destroyed by Iowa State, destroyed by Houston. They actually got destroyed by Cincinnati too, so they skid out horribly before coming around and beating TCU, Utah, and BYU, three huge wins. Then taking a few tough losses to Baylor, Oklahoma State, West Virginia. They eke out a win versus Cincinnati. And like, I don't get how they even made it to the tournament, to be honest. I mean, I guess because they ran through their non-conference schedule, but like beating Kansas is crazy. They have some big wins. And then Arizona kind of made light work of them, so yeah. I'm like kind of on the fence about this one too because I have UCLA in my bracket, so I kind of just don't really want to fade them. But like if this was plus 6.5, I would feel great about that. But I don't think you're gonna get a plus 6.5 because usually DraftKings is gonna have one of the softer numbers, and they still have this at 5.5, so may not be able to get involved. But we'll see. I don't hate it. All right, Purdue, Queen's University. It's like another one I'm just good on. Like I kind of have Purdue being able to cover this number because an easier schedule in I mean a much harder schedule. 91 versus 114, so actually pretty close. But I have them like at 27 points better. So I mean, Do I think Purdue's going to cover this? Not really. I really don't. I think that Queen's University can hold a close game with them, but like I'm not too sure. Not too sure. So just a big number that I'm definitely not going to get behind, and I might consider grabbing Queen's University here just because like even when I get them similar numbers, it's like, okay, like this is a similar sample we have 91 versus 114. Like these are similar samples, and I have them winning by max 27 and a half. So I kind of like to think that it would be closer to like a 15-point victory, honestly, is what I think for a game like this. So I kind of like Queen's University. It's just like these teams like this, it's like for this to be it's like Queen's University has not been running through teams, you know? Like they have a lot of wins in a row when they are winning, so they look okay. They looked really good in the tournament, in their conference tournament. I mean, Central Arkansas is like these teams are like the best teams in this conference. So Queens has looked good. I wouldn't be surprised if they can like hold within this number, but I'm gonna think about backing them and fading Purdue here. Next game, Kansas versus California Baptist. This is another game I thought I would be really getting behind Kansas to lay the 13 and a half, but just can't get there. I mean, 10 and a half, maybe I would do it, but I'm getting them like 10 points better in a pretty close sample again here. So supposedly California Baptist has a really good player, so can't get to it, but I kind of like Kansas to destroy them. I think Kansas is about to go on a run in this tournament. So we'll see. I have Kansas making it a few layers into my bracket. Next game, UConn Furman. I honestly like Furman to hold within this number. I feel like UConn lets teams like UConn has looked shaky, so maybe it's a good time to grab them for a bounce back, but they are just like had an easy schedule for how like good they're supposed to be. And I think the American East is just not good. So, or whatever conference this is. I forget what conference UConn's in, but it's like them and St. John's and everybody else is kind of like a similar team and not that good. So, I honestly do like to grab Furman and Queens just maybe as a pair and see what happens. Like in my luck, I mean, there's been a lot of blowouts, so it's like there are teams that have been covering numbers in the 20s. So I mean, just looking at like I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure like New Mexico, Michigan State, um, Houston. Like there are a few teams today that covered these big numbers. So kind of reluctant to fade them at this point, but I don't think UConn is gonna just come in here and make light work of this Furman team at all. The next game, Miami versus Missouri. This is a game I do like. I'm gonna definitely be on Miami here for sure, especially if I can still. I saw the 1.5 a little while ago, but if I can get that 1.5, I'm all over this. So I'm just getting them by winning by up to. I'm gonna got them like 4 points better. I don't think Missouri is good. I really don't like Missouri plays good at home. Other than that, they really don't play that good. So I'm gonna grab Miami. They just have better offense, better defense. Just a good matchup. I think they kind of crush them. So that's one I really like. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna be on. I'll put it in the comment because I still haven't decided. I got some more work to do, but you heard the ones I like. So I like Kentucky money line. I don't really like have a lean in these games. I think Iowa State blows this team out by 30 points, but I probably won't be on it. A way harder schedule there, covering 22. So I don't mind Iowa State, but I'm not laying that number. I kind of like Alabama. I'm considering Alabama. This game I'm not going to touch. I have no idea. This game, this Miami of Ohio game, not touching. I like Clemson. Not touching this St. John's game, even though I kind of lean St. John's. I don't think Northern Iowa is going to be able to score much or do much. I like UCF to cover the 5.5. I like Queens University to cover. I like Furman to cover, and I like Miami. So those are the ones I like. I'll put what I get on in the comments. Thank you.